The 89th legislative session is in full swing. Thousands of bills have already been filed by legislators. Accordingly, the debate details on bills can get overlooked, even on critical legislation. That's why we've asked legislators to come to TPPF to discuss their bills to ensure you are on top of the most important issues making their way through the Texas Capitol. This is the layout. I'm Jose Melendez, campaign director of TPPF's Taxpayer Protection Project. Today we are discussing Senate Bill 533 with Senator Kevin Sparks from Senate District 31. Senator Sparks, welcome to the layout.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, Senate Bill 533 seeks to hold a uniform election date in November. So that's for bonds and tax increases. Tell us what sparked the need for this bill.
Well, what we've seen this pattern develop over a number of years here in Texas, in which we'll have these very large bond proposals, and they'll be in an off-election year, oftentimes in May. And so, therefore, you have a very low voter turnout.
So take us through this bill, kind of give us a walkthrough of how it would work.
Well, I mean, what it will do is it's a pretty simple bill. It's going to mandate that if you have any type of proposal that binds the community to debt, say a bond, that it's going to the actual election will correspond in November during a normal election that's being held.
So let's say this bill passes, it's implemented. How would the lives of Texans be impacted by the passage of this bill?
So oftentimes what happens, the reason entities would choose to do it in May would, again, so that they could turn out their votes, the people that are that are supporting the bond, and May, you're right at the end of the school cycle. They're just, everybody's got spring fever. And so oftentimes your voter turnout could be, less than 3%. And so, when you look at our founding fathers and this idea of self-governance, it kind of falls apart if you don't have good representation of your constituents.
So some people would say, or at least they have concerns, that this would create ballot exhaustion. How would you respond to those people?
I would say that I think that's fair, that it will necessarily bring, another issue or two on a ballot that already has a number of issues there. But I think you have to weigh the cost benefit of that, in that people are more aware of the issues at that point in time. They're used to seeing the commercials. They're hopefully taking time to get educated on candidates as well as ballot issues, including these financial issues.
So I'm sure you've talked to your constituents and Texans, who visit their capital. What's the feedback you received on this bill?
We've had quite a bit of positive feedback, except as you might expect from our, number of school issues, like superintendents are not in favor of this, but they're oftentimes the ones that put those bonds, in May. But I would say overall, from the general public, they understand the concept. And they, too, are interested in making sure that when we're obligating our communities to long-term debt, that we have a good overall representation of the voters.
Well, Senator Sparks, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.